All right, welcome back. The former president, Donald Trump, says he would testify potentially in his own defense if he ends up going to trial. Now, during an appearance on the Hugh Hewitt radio show today, though Trump didn't specify whether he meant he would testify in just one or all four of the cases he will be facing. Watch.
So if you have to go to trial, will you testify in your own defense?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You'll take the stand.
That I look forward to, because that's just like Russia.
Meantime, several new national polls show the former president strengthening his lead in the race for the Republican nomination. Joining us now is a senior advisor to Donald Trump, Jason Miller. Jason, thank you for being here on the Hill on NewsNation once again. Appreciate the time as always. So you've seen the polling just like the rest of us have. Every single time there's been an indictment against Donald Trump, his poll numbers have shot up and to the right. If he were to testify in any of these cases, Jason, do you expect his numbers to increase with that as well?
Well, great question. I'm not on the legal team, so the last thing I'm going to do is start giving President Trump legal advice. But as we've seen each of these attacks from Joe Biden and Merrick Garland and the rest of the lefty deep staters, with all these indictments, President Trump's numbers have gone up, not just for the primary, but for the general election as well. You referenced a moment ago some of these polls. I mean, even just today, premise data shows President Trump leading Joe Biden by 6 points. Echelon Insights, which just came out about in the last hour or two, has President Trump leading by 1. And in fact, Blake, you look at the 10 polls that have come out since this fourth indictment, 7 of the 10 have shown President Trump leading Joe Biden. That's a statement.
Is the race over? The primary?
Oh, I would never say that. I would never say that. President Trump is leading 60-15. That was Morning Consult 59-13, which, of course, everyone saw from the Wall Street Journal. But President Trump is definitely in the driver's seat. But as he always tells us, we're not going to take our foot off the gas. But, you know, Blake, when we look at both the primary and the general, I really think, though, the biggest numbers to come out this week were the Wall Street Journal numbers on the economy and voters' attitudes. And the fact that 3 out of 4 voters believe that inflation is getting worse. 58% say the economy is going in the wrong direction. 61% live paycheck to paycheck. If you want to know why Joe Biden spent Labor Day in Pennsylvania reaching out to union workers, it's because he knows he's in trouble, and his numbers with African American and Latino Americans are terrible as well.
You know, you referenced that poll. It shows it 46-46. Scott Traynor at Decision Desk HQ told us yesterday that if he had a poll out today, it would basically show a dead heat. You referenced the economy. You know, if the economy is the way it is, and of all the successes of the former president that you talk about, then why is this only a coin flip? Shouldn't the former president be well out ahead then, in theory?
Well, great question. As the geniuses that are at the table with you, Chris Starwalt and David Drucker, who I have a tremendous amount of respect for, what they will tell you is when you look at the national surveys, typically Republicans are undercounted by a couple of points. That's because there are about 12 million or so more Democrats than Republicans nationally. When you start looking at the swing states, that's where President Trump, I believe, is in the driver's seat. Don't just take it from me. The fact that Joe Biden and the Democrats just launched this $25 million ad buy targeting states that are traditionally viewed as being more blue, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, reaching out to constituencies that Democrats usually take for granted. As I said, blacks, Latinos, union workers. It shows that they're worried about where things are. Some real apathy on the Democratic side. And I think as you start breaking it down into the actual swing states, I think President Trump's leading by even more. Look, that number today, that premise data number, actually, it may have been yesterday, 6-point lead, that's a pretty big stretch. I like their polling, or at least I do today.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.